Hello everyone, welcome to my kitchen. I have another great recipe to share with everyone today. This is braised pork, Thit Kho, and in this video I will show you step by step on how to make this. Plus I'm serving this in a rice paper roll, so stay tuned. Okay, so to begin making the braised pork, I'm going to go ahead and poach the pork first. In here I have 1.5 pounds of the pork shoulder. That's what I'm using. Put that in the trash. I'm going to cut these in pretty big chunks here. The water is not quite boiled yet, but I'll wait until it gets boiled. So for the water, I want to add in about 1 tablespoon of salt into the boiling water, and then just gonna add the pork. Poach this, get all the residue out before I start to add it to the caramelized sauce. The second kind of pork that I have is the pork ribs. Put that in here. So these are the pork rib country size. I have a bone in there, but the majority of the pieces here are just meat. So I still want to use that as well. So I have a total of about 3.5 pounds of meat. Just gonna let this boil and then we'll go from there. So when the pork comes to a boil, go ahead and take it over to the sink, rinse it out with cold water, clean it up, get rid of all the residue, and then I'm gonna transfer it into a clay pot and I'm gonna pour the caramelized sauce over it. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and make the caramelized sauce for the Thit Kho, for the pork braise. If you have caramelized sauce that you purchase from the store, go ahead and use that. I don't have any at home, so I'm just making it from scratch. So what I have in here is just 1 teaspoon of water, and then I'm adding in 3.5 tablespoons of sugar, because I have 3.5 pounds of pork in there. I try to measure the sugar equal parts to the pounds of pork that I am using. So I think that's 3.5 pounds of pork. The pork has already been cleaned and rinsed. So the traditional pork braise that my mom makes, she used pork belly, but rather pork shoulder, and pork country style ribs. So I'm using combination of 2 types of pork, and I have half of the shallots. So I'm going to go ahead and just roughly chop it. I want a lot of garlic in there, so I have 4 garlic. Just going to rough chop this. With the caramelized sauce, you have to kind of stand here and watch it, because I have a history of burning that and setting the smoke alarm off. So I have learned my lesson. So I'm just gonna stand here and watch it as I'm chopping my garlic. Chop it slowly, because that's coming together pretty nicely there. A green chili as well as a red chili. If you prefer not to add any chili in there, then just leave that out. So it's turning slightly brown. I want this to be a caramelized color. So I want to move it around because I want the sugar to caramelize evenly. You can certainly use chopstick to mix it, but I don't want my chopstick to be sticky. I will use a chopstick in a little bit when I add in the oil and put in the garlic and the shallots. you see why we have to stand in front of the stove, because this guy will heat up very quick and it will burn. So I'm going to turn the heat. So it's coming together. This is the color that I like. So I'm going to add oil, a little bit of fat since we are not using pork belly, and then I'm going to add in all my garlic, shallots, and chili. Now I will use chopstick and mix it up. Oh wow, this smells really good. Combination of caramelized sugar, garlic, and shallots. This is my everyday perfume now, since I don't go out anymore. I don't go into the office, I work from home, so this is what I wear every day. So this is what my caramelized garlic shallots sauce look like. Put that over there. Move this over here. And now I'm just going to pour the caramelized sauce over my pork. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it up high. Open up my Coco Rico coconut water. My neighbor said, "Kim, you always use this in your cooking." Yeah, I do. I use this for my fish sauce, my other dipping sauce, and for Thit Kho. I don't use this for gak kho though, not for the catfish. For Thit Kho, yes. For curry too, for Penang curry, Vietnamese curry. There's one more thing that I want to add, which is my fish sauce. So the same measurement for the sugar as with the fish sauce, because I have 3.5 pounds of meat in here. I'm going to add, actually I'm just going to add 3, and then the other half, so 3 tablespoons of fish sauce. I'm going to add less than that because I'm going to taste it once it comes to boil, and just to make sure that I like it. It's better that you start out making less and then you can add more later. The other half I'm going to use the dark soy sauce, because the caramelized sauce will give it the brown color, but I want the broth to be a little bit darker. So for Thit Kho, I will add in the dark soy sauce to get that extra caramelized flavor and color. That's all the ingredients. I'm going to put this lid over and just let this simmer for 20 minutes. I'll come back and check on it and make sure that I like the taste of the broth, and I can adjust the seasoning as I need to. So we'll see you back here in another 20 minutes. Okay, so I took the clay pot outside to cook it because it's nice outside. Plus, there's a bunch of fish sauce in there. It was starting to stink up the house. So if you have an outdoor kitchen, this is a perfect dish to cook outdoor. It's very tasty, but it does not make the house smell very nice. Just gonna... This is what it looks like. It was bubbling really fast, so I turned down the heat and almost overflowed, but this is what our Thit Kho look like. Just braised pork with boiled eggs, cooked in a slow cooker. So it takes about 4 hours to get it to turn this color. And you can add tofu and boiled eggs, or just leave it with just pork only. So there you go. Here's another version of the braised pork. Same seasoning. I added additional water, so 1 can of the coconut soda, half can of water into the broth. So that way it'll soak in the tofu as well as the eggs. Has enough liquid to soak in the tofu and eggs. I gather all the ingredients and I am getting ready to assemble the rice paper roll using the braised pork. So here is our pork that we braise for 20 minutes, and I just let that sit for an hour or so, and then I heat it up again for another 20 minutes in the clay pot. And the benefit of cooking in the clay pot is that the broth is so delicious. It retains all that flavor of the garlic, shallots, the caramelized sauce. And there are a health benefit of cooking in the clay pot too. I'll let you guys Google that. But I have my veggies that I have in the fridge. I like to eat tomatoes with the braised pork, so I have that. In the greens, I have arugula and mint. Whatever green that you have in your fridge, that's fine. I'm gonna put cucumber. I sliced the cucumber in the size that I want the rice paper roll to be. Add in my this homemade sweet pickled carrots daikon. I'll link a video to where you can make this at home. Actually, I want the pork here first. I want to show off the tomatoes. And just go ahead and wrap these guys. Okay, so that's first roll. Let me try this again, putting the tomato toward the end. So I want the tomato to show up, so I'm going to put the tomato down here. 3 pieces of tomatoes. Testing as I'm going here. Put in my arugula. Forgot the mint earlier. First roll didn't have the mint. Cucumber, pickle, carrots daikon, my pork. And the pork, as you can see, this is not pork belly, so there's no fat on here. This is the pork that I selected is pork shoulder. There's hardly any fat in there, or I trim out the fat. And the reason I'm doing that because I have high cholesterol, so I cannot eat pork belly, even though I love it. If you can eat pork belly, then use pork belly for the braised pork. Trying to get my cholesterol to come down. So I am using lean meat for the braised pork. So you can assemble this however you want to, but this is the way I do it. So I think I'm pretty happy with that. Rice paper roll with Thit Kho or braised pork. Thank you so much for watching. If you are new to this channel, please consider subscribing, and please share this video with friends and family members who may benefit from this video. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you back here next time.